This is Boomer Life on CL 650.
All I wanna do is have some fun. I got a feeling.
And welcome back to the show. This is Boomer Life on CL 650. I'm Joanne Sutton. Joining us in the studio today from the BC Seniors Living Association, we have Executive Director Marlene Williams, along with Sam Zaitun, who's an educator and a program specialist with Vancouver Premier College. We also have Reid Wilderman, Director of Education from Vancouver Premier College. So one of the reasons that we're talking about the importance of a seniors community, well, there's a number of reasons, but supply and demand, and it's a booming business. It's predicted that retirement communities will burgeon with growth in Canada as the baby boomer demo ages, which is basically what's happening right now. And we're learning to embrace the concept of retirement living and independent living. So, Marlene, do you actually have any statistics on this industry growth, or can you paint us a picture of where we're heading in the next couple of years? Or
Well, actually, I just did some statistics for the Seniors Advocate. I did some statistics recently for her, and in the last 5 years, the new builds in relation to the retirement communities that already exist in British Columbia, in the last 5 years, it increased by 27%, which is huge.
That is huge.
And the projects that we know of that are either in development, going for permits, or ready to break ground or going to open within the next 5 years is another 17%. So the industry is growing. It's a fast-moving market. It is expanding to areas that it needs to be in, like up in northern Vancouver Island. There's quite a few development going up in northern BC, and then there's some in the Okanagan and that type of thing, as well as some here in Vancouver. So it is an industry that's growing, and it's growing probably quicker than your average industry, and so. You know, it's a challenge of where you're going to find staff, and in the past, our industry has been moving, in my experience in the last 8 years with the association, the industry is tapping into the hospitality industry because the retirement communities are very similar. They look and feel sometimes just like a hotel. They got a front desk, they got a concierge, they've got a dining room, they've got a pub, they've got everything that goes along. They've got a gym, hairdresser, workout room, that type of thing. So they are tapping into the hospitality industry. And they do that because one of the paramount reason of aspects of the retirement industry is service, and we all know that a hospitality industry is based on service, and more service. So that's why they're taking from that particular industry. But there's only so many. There's a lot of people that come from the hospitality industry that fit like a glove, like Sam does. There's other people that come, stay 3 months and say, no,
it's not my thing.
Not for me. It's not. It doesn't have maybe the glamour. It doesn't have the perks. It may not have a lot of things that the hospitality industry does. And so there was that little bit of a
gap,
a gap where we said, okay, now we need to actually train people who may not even be from the hospitality industry. As Sam says, as long as they have the demeanor or the personality, we can teach them what they need to know. And so that's why we started thinking we needed to do something like this, because we needed to get people that either wanted to change careers. Maybe they were in a particular industry that's on the downsize right now, like the oil and gas, for an example. And maybe they're in their 30s or 40s, or maybe even younger, or maybe even older. And they just say, I want to do something different now for the last 10 or 15 years of my life. And so we came up with this program because we thought that outside the hospitality industry, we needed to have something specific and tangible that a person could go and take courses and say, you know what, this is a good career choice for me.
Well, I think this is really exciting because who would have thought that the baby boomers were basically a job creation project? Yeah. But we are, and this is where I would love to bring Reid into the program to tell us about this new the new program that's being established at Vancouver Premier College. So Reid, I know this is your baby. Tell us what it is and how you see it working.
Well, it's a shared baby between myself and Sam and Marlene and some other members of the BCSLA. But in summary, Vancouver Premier College is a private career college that focuses on hospitality management. We hired Sam as an instructor for that program about a year ago, and at that time I learned about his background in the senior living industry. As a school, we're always looking to improve, diversify, and try to better ourselves like our students. And we're looking at new program ideas, and the idea came up to potentially look at doing a senior living management program. Sam, of course, was the go-to person who I talked to right away. And if you look at senior living, the industry itself, everything you look up will take you back to the BCSLA. So my first step after a casual conversation with Sam was to contact Marlene. So right from the start, we met with the BCSLA to come up with a partnership idea loosely. Would this be something we could work together on? And it was. So from day one, it started off on the right foot. At that point, the process is very regulated because we are regulated by the Provincial Career Training Institutions Agency of British Columbia. And so there's several steps. We had to go through a very thorough process to create the program, which we did with all industry input from the BCSLA. So we feel that we've created not only a solid educational program, but it actually has the very specific career aspects that the people that are taking the program are going to need to be successful in jobs, which again, as Sam mentioned earlier, our goal is not only to, we want more students, it's good for our school, but the more that the industry grows, it's better for everybody.
Well, I think you've obviously identified that there's going to be a lot of new jobs in this industry in the future. So you're trying to be proactive and prepare for that.
Yeah, absolutely. And as Marlene mentioned too, there's such a link between hospitality management and now senior living management that the fact that our school and our programs are set up already for hospitality management, it was a much easier sideways move to also add in the senior living management than maybe it would have been for another school that focused on a different aspect of education.
So tell us a little bit about the types of courses that will be offered in this program. Sam, can you speak to that?
Certainly. We have, I'm going to break him down to two components. There, one component that can be taken, and it will help you out in any managerial position that you may have. For example, the Human Resources course. It's a Canadian-based human resources that will cover all your human resources needs as a manager, as well as your labor relation, etc. Then we have the managerial communication or business communication that will help you to communicate effectively in the business world, from verbal to writing to presentations, organization, etc. That also includes some human resources part, believe it or not, with a matter of hiring and interviewing, etc. So that's cover both, because really hiring the right person at the end of the day is what it's all about in any business.
It comes down to that person being the right fit, right?
Exactly.
Yes.
And then the leadership and management for the hospitality industry. So these three courses people can take and use anywhere they wish. And the other ones are more specific to the retirement industry, or the senior living industry. So the first one that we have is the operations of the retirement community. And this is an overall program that will cover the generic things that people need to know if they come into the industry as new people, that they want to learn about the industry, or existing members that in different positions with a general manager, a department head, or a supervisor that want to advance in their career. And they want to look, they probably know a lot because they've been working in the industry, but they might look at things from a different perspective, because as Marlene mentioned earlier, if you're going to have different people that have experience in the industry that are going to be teaching the course, so they're going to tell you what the instructors say, but they will also show you 20 different ways of how things are done, and all these are cards in your pocket to use when the time is right. So just different techniques of doing things. For example, in different classes out of 12 days or 15 days, when you work with a course like this, the Operation Retirement Community, we talk about the overall operation. What do people do? Why do seniors move to a retirement community? And getting engagement with the educator and the students about that. People need to understand why people move to a retirement community.
So it's not just essentially like the inner workings of the property, which would be essential as well, but you're looking at a broader picture.
Correct.
Okay, for the operations course. And what else? What about the really delving into understanding an aging person? Is there anything like that?
There is, apart from the overall operation that touches on every department almost of the community itself or the building, and how it's all connected together. We have different programs as well. For example, the concept of selling to senior. It's not your selling in a car lot or in a hotel, or it's your relationship selling. It's how you're gonna talk to people. Why you need to understand why they came to see you in the first place. They made the call. Maybe you had an advertisement somewhere, but they made the call. They come and see you. If you don't understand the reason why they came to see you
In the first place,
in the
right?
first place, something is not right. They missed the boat. And that is one of them. We have healthy aging and aging process of senior. Again, the students will just understand what's the aging process and how people age. We all age differently. But what's the aging process, and to create a generic understanding of the aging process for a human being in general, and how does it impact you as a senior when you're in your 70s, 80s, etc. And the other one that we feel is really important is the food and nutrition. Even though we call it food and nutrition program, but it's really is the food and beverage and the dining experience for in a retirement community, and how this evolved. Even though nutrition is really important for anybody, any human being, never mind seniors. We don't want to tell seniors to eat this or not to eat that, but how nutrition is important. It's important for people that manage retirement communities to understand that, and to also implement a food and beverage concept like they do in hotels and restaurants, because people now want the variety. People want to have a martini, and people want to have a glass of wine, and if they don't, they don't. But how can you make the life a real good experience when you dine in the same restaurant every single day? How can you create an experience out of this? And hopefully we can engage in conversations that to give them a lot of ideas to help them out to succeed in that.
So, Reid, as the educator from Vancouver Premier College, was it hard to narrow down these specific courses? Like, how do you take an entire life of a senior and narrow it down to train somebody in 6 different courses that they're going to be able to fulfill the need?
That's a very good question, and as you hinted at, it's obviously impossible to do that. So what we really focused on, with this being a smaller certificate program, was what were the most important things that someone who was going to work in these communities needed to know. A, that would make them employable, and B, that would help to grow the industry and make it a more enjoyable experience for the people that live there, again, which creates growth for both industries. So we narrowed it down, again, meeting with the BCSLA and Sam's input, and we focused on the most important parts to start with, and it may grow in the future from there.
And what can you tell us about how this program differs at Vancouver Premier College from anything else that's available right now in the province?
Well, actually, there is one other program, as Marlene mentioned, at Thompson Rivers University. That program is 100% online, which, again, is benefit for a lot of people. Our program is 100% classroom-based. So, it is very different in the fact that you'll be in a brick-and-mortar building. You'll be sitting in a room with an industry professional who's teaching the course.
Face-to-face instructor.
Face-to-face, our average class sizes are usually in the 15 to 20 range. We're not going to be in a big auditorium, or you're not going to be at a computer by yourself. So even across the country, when we were doing our research, Sam and I think there's about 5 programs that are actually offered in this area across the country, and we would be the first that's actually classroom-based.
I just want to interject here, and one of the fun things that we've talked about, and I don't know whether it's materialized yet or not, was the nice thing about having a classroom, especially in the evenings, is that we can do field trips. So the classroom, it may be about operations, and it may be about dinner service, and hey, we're just going to take the students and take them over to Tapestry at Arbutus Walk and show them the seniors having dinner. I mean, we can do fun things like that.
A lot of hands-on.
To make it more interactive. And we'll have special guests coming in to talk about things like that too. And that's one of the nice things about Classroom.
I also like the way that you've designed the program in 6-week courses, but you're not completely immersed in it. You're allowed to have a life at the same time. Like, it's almost like a part-time study where you can go 1 or 2 days a week. Is that how it's been designed?
Yeah, exactly. And I think, again, from the start, when we met with Marlene and the BCSLA, we're pretty confident that a lot of the people that will want to take the course were probably working either in the industry or out of the industry already. So we wanted to set up the program as a part-time program where they could continue to work. People have families and responsibilities and bills, and still complete the program part-time in about 9 months. So it's a part-time commitment, but it's not a really, really long commitment.
You're listening to Boomer Life on CL 650, and joining us in the studio today from the BC Seniors Living Association, we have Executive Director Marlene Williams, along with Sam Zaitoon, who's an educator and a program specialist at Vancouver Premier College. We also have Reid Wildeman, Director of Education from Vancouver Premier College. If you want more information about today's conversation, please go online to BCSLA.ca, and this conversation will continue in a moment about the leadership role of the BC Seniors Living Association, the role that they have in our province and our communities, and what kind of people might be attracted to take this new program at Vancouver Premier College. That's all coming up next on CL 650.
Celebrating the baby boomer lifestyle. This is Boomer Life on CL 650.